Hey guys, good evening. So it's, I believe Tuesday. Is it Tuesday, 10/9? I think it is. You know what? Let me just turn the sunset going down over the mountains of just west of Phoenix here. Beautiful sunset. Just want to give you an update. Don't have anything. I do have a lot of profound stuff today, to believe it or not, but don't have a lot of time to share that with you. Anyway, I'm still in Phoenix. I'm still with Bob and Sue, amazing folks. One of the nice things about these nice people that I just met yesterday is they totally believe in the message of pointing the thumb. And sometimes I've gone to people and they've welcomed me, which is beautiful. But these folks have actually been taking me around and introducing me to folks and sharing stories, and it's exactly what I hope to do in the future. I hope to be able to share with families, with schools, with churches, with prisons. And every time I talk to somebody about pointing the thumb, I swear to you, I get the same response. And I can't thank them enough. I'm going to spend a second night with them, believe it or not, and be on my way tomorrow. But I wanted to just kind of give you guys an update. It's getting late here out in the west. It's mountain time, but it's technically Pacific time, 3 hours behind the East Coast. I know it's getting late for you guys. I didn't do an afternoon video. They took me to a restaurant called The Rooster in Scottsdale. It was a wonderful place. I got to meet Jason, the owner. He's from New Jersey, so there's a little East Coast bonding and talking. I shared some pictures. I don't think I shared the pictures yet. Very cool thing. I didn't know this, but Ric Flair, the world famous wrestler who was instrumental to the growth of wrestling as Hulk Hogan was. And by the way, if you ever want to see a 30 for 30, it's one of the best I've ever seen. But anyway, he has his own private booth at the restaurant, and I took some pictures of it. I'll try to post it later. I didn't know he must live local. I assume he does, if that's the case. But great restaurant, great bar. Had a nice day. And then Sue wanted me to meet several other people because she wants to spread the message. She believes in it that much. She's tried to reach out to some closed Facebook groups. I don't know what that means. I think I do, because I think we have one now. Anyway, but it's been great. So a few things to share with you from the profound standpoint is, again, I study people as I'm with them, and Bob and Sue are just fantastic. And usually I don't really tell them what I see, because some people get offensive, but they asked me, and I kind of told them how, they've been married 47 years, and one of the best things about this journey for me is I've seen many, many happily married people, which I haven't seen a lot of in my lifetime anywhere. They almost finish each other's sentences, but they're different personalities, and that's kind of the key. I've said this before on the journey, I'll say it again. One of the greatest movies of all time is the movie Rocky. But everybody thinks Rocky is a sports movie, and it is, but it's a love story. It's a love story between Rocky and Adrian, and one of the greatest lines, I think, that sums up relationships. Paulie says to Rocky at some point, what are you doing? What do you see in my sister? What are you doing with her? And he says, I don't know, we fill gaps. I got gaps, she got gaps, we fill gaps. I think that's how relationships, blend. I mean, these folks can cut loose and have a great time as parrot heads and following Jimmy Buffett, and yet they're different. They can work together, they can respect each other, but the thing I noticed about these folks that made them so successful over so many years is the security they have. I think so many times when there's issues in a relationship, it's either one or both parties are insecure. They're insecure about themselves, and yet they portray it onto their partner. And I was talking to them both, and they kind of saw what I was saying. Like, wow, you're really observant. But there's things that happen that I would react to differently than Bob reacts to. I would react to things differently than Sue reacts to. But it's just the way they handle it. For example, Bob has, not earplugs, what's the term? Hearing aids. And he also is on insulin. So at least 6 times in the now just about 26 hours I've known them, so they say, Bob, you got your hearing aids in? Bob, you got your insulin? You check your insulin after the restaurant? And he kind of rolls his eyes, but yet it's their relationship. He knows, he doesn't go, come on, leave me alone. I've been around people that would sit there and look at me and have another set of ears and be like, you see this crap I got to deal with? I got to babysit him all the time, blah, 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 blah. They just roll with it. That's her role in their relationship. He doesn't get offended. He just deals with it. He appreciates it. It's really a beautiful thing to see. it's just, like I said, it's just been great people, and I so appreciate them wanting to take me around. I met their daughter. I'm with Sue's sister and her husband. I met the folks that they want me to spread this message, and I appreciate it so much, which is why I'm kind of sticking around. I'm with a group of folks now that readily admit that their daughter, 35 years old, is a full-blown alcoholic. She went to rehab, came back from rehab, and just picked up right where she left off, and then went back again and wanted to come home. And one gentleman says, look, I drink 4 beers a night. I'm not going to stop drinking because you can't handle your stuff at 35 years old. You're not welcome back here. I know it's not going to help you, but that's not my problem. It's time to pull up your pants and take care of yourself. And just talk about that. Is how do you go to rehab, and do you want to get help, or you go to rehab begrudgingly? How good is rehab if you don't want to be there? To these folks. We talked about drug issues. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and there's more towns than other states I've been in, but not quite the East Coast, where there's just constant population. You got 20-mile gaps between towns, and these guys have worked all over the state for what they do. And like, yeah, we sort of talk about the drug problem, the epidemic or pandemic, as I've come across the country. Like, yeah, I never realized that this was in this town, and this was in this town. And in fact, Bob and Sue went to go relocate for a year to a town, I don't know if it's called Espanola, up above Santa Fe, New Mexico. And to show you how crazy it is, they heard about a drug problem, and they have a friend of theirs in the DEA out in Denver, and they said, hey, we heard this is the drug capital of the world. Is that true? And can't be. And he called them back and goes, after doing some investigation, we have the highest per capita DEA agent, in that little town. And then another gentleman, a local police officer, said, look, when you walk through the parks, don't wear sandals, don't wear flip-flops, because of hypodermic needles. This is a little town north of Santa Fe, New Mexico. They're like, look, we'll live in Santa Fe and commute way up there to go there. Folks I'm with now, commuting west of here 30 minutes. Like, we had to go to the hospital there, and they told us, of the heroin epidemic in town. And it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. But the one message I wanted to get across, and I hope continues, any of you that are following me, I'm asking you personally, when I get done with the walk in 2 weeks, this is my calling. I want to carry the message. I want to share the stories. I want to talk to as many people as possible and share the message of pointing the thumb and taking your accountability. I shared the story of Stephen back in Albuquerque, who is 26-year-old, many times jailed, heroin addict, that's just, his life is done. And maybe that's unfair. The recovered addicts will say it's not done, and I get that. But he has put himself in such a hole. He doesn't want to be an addict, but he is. He can't control it. And how did it start? I was bored. I was 15, 16, hanging out with friends who started snorting OxyContins. No reason. There was no... He said, I grew up in a good family. It wasn't like I had... I wasn't abused. I wasn't unloved. I just started doing it, man. And then this disease took over. I want to spread the message as much as possible. I'm going to ask you guys. I've got a bunch of people following me. I'm ending in 2.5 weeks. Reach out to me. Reach out. There's 2 gentlemen that are helping me significantly. There's a lot of people that have helped me. I love you all for it. But Scott Redding and Steve Rizza are 2 people that have helped me tremendously. And they support me so much, they want to help me spread the word. Reach out to those guys. My point is, I'll come to your town. I don't know what I need to schedule it, though, I guess is my point. I'll come to your homes. I'll come to your churches. I'll come to your schools. If you believe in pointing the thumb, and again, let me repeat that for a moment, because every time I go somewhere, I got to kind of share that, because they hear point the thumb, but they don't know what my interpretation is. And point the thumb simply means, I have 2 interpretations, but the major one is, look, before you point the finger and place blame elsewhere, point the thumb at yourself. Okay, so let me do it. Before you point the finger, point the thumb at yourself and say, what did I do to contribute to this? Did I have to say what I had to say? Should I have said something different? Should I have not said anything at all? If there's blame, there'll always be blame after the fact. But before you go attacking others, point the thumb at yourself and ask yourself, and I promise you it will de-escalate every situation out there. Every one. There's no downfall to it. Even if you point the thumb and go, nope, I did everything perfect. I handled nothing. Now go do what you got to do. You're going to do it anyway. But that's what point the thumb means to me. The second part of it is something we just talked about over here. But point the thumb at yourself. Be real with who you are. You want to put on a facade for the whole world and pretend that your life is perfect and your kids are great and your marriage is great and you have no financial problems, then go ahead and pretend. But with yourself, be real flippin' honest with yourself as to who you are. Talking to a family that has a daughter that's alcoholic. I asked them, how many times did she tell you, I don't have a drinking problem? And if you got a drinking problem, the minute you lose your pride, which I talked about the other day, and only you have a drinking problem, is the moment you can start getting help to reel that in. If you have insecurities or jealousies or anxiety or whatever it might be, if you've got a drug addiction, if you've got a porn addiction, if you've got whatever you've got, I like the porn industry. I never talked about that on this before, but the porn industry is like a, I don't know, $6 billion industry. So clearly these things are selling, these sites and everything else. And I've known plenty of people I've seen on TV, and I know of people that are married because he can't get off or she can't get off the computer, and she's doing this and she called that service or he called that service. Don't go, oh no, I watch porn occasionally. Look, if you've got an issue, it's no different than anything else in life. Like I said, when I was trying to help somebody close to me that's got some anxiety issues and some things like that, stop denying it. If you had cancer and I came up to you and said, hey, how's that cancer doing? You tell me, look, I got 2 more chemo treatments, and then I got to go back in 3 months, and I got to take some pills, and I'm going to beat this thing. If I asked you, how's that COPD doing? Well, I got to deal with this oxygen, and I got to go see. There's no stigma with it, and people talk about it willingly. But if I come up to you and say, hey, how's your alcoholism doing? Or how's that anxiety issue? Or how's that bipolar doing? I don't got bipolar. You're crazy. You're the only one that thinks that. I don't have alcohol. I can handle my drinks. Point the thumb at yourself and own who the flip you are, okay? When you do that, you'll be a better person to your family and your loved ones and everything else. So that's kind of what that means. So I'm repeating myself again. I understand. I just want to check in with y'all because a lot of people do follow me, and a lot of people that have this core group that worries about me and where I am. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, or on the outskirts. I'm going to be here again tomorrow, heading up to the Grand Canyon, I think on Thursday or Friday, and then on my way. I'm finishing the walk in 2.5 weeks, but I'm not finishing my passion, my willingness, my desire to ask everybody to point the thumb. If you believe in me, if you believe in the message, reach out to me. Let me know that what you're willing to do. Let me know if you want to call your local church, if you want to have people over to your house and just BS for a night and have a couple beers and just talk about the stories and help. If we just start spreading the word, 1, 2, 3, 4 people at a time, then they have me over and they talk to somebody and they talk to somebody, I'm going to be heading out to LA eventually here in 2.5 weeks. If you know anybody out that way, I'm going to be going along 66 through Flagstaff, I think it's called Seligman, Kingman, and out through the desert towards Barstow, California, because there's not much out there between there. Barstow down to Victorville, it's kind of near San Bernardino, and then coming in through California that way. I would love to be able to talk to some folks between now and then, but I need you to help me reach out and talk to these people and just say, hey, this guy's coming through. Let him come to your diner and talk to you, whatever. Just the more people we can talk about, the better off we'll be. And as Bob just said to me, literally 10 minutes ago, Jim, if you only change one person, help one person this journey, it was worth it. And I believe that too. So thanks guys for following. I love you. Thanks for putting up with me. I'll share one more quick. That sun from where I showed you earlier is now down behind the mountains. It's beautiful. And I love you all. Have yourselves a great night. Kira, Grace, and Landon, still just about your bedtime. Love you. Get some sleep. I'll talk to you in the morning. Okay, guys? All right, love you. I love you guys.